Hi, this is Alan with Front End Audio, and we're here with the Cranesong EGRET. The EGRET is an 8-channel D-to-A converter and summing bus that offers a couple of other features that are really cool. It's designed to kind of tie up with the Cranesong Spider, which is an 8-channel microphone preamplifier and mixer and A to D converter. So that creates a really high quality A to D and D to A system, and with mixing capability on both sides of it. So let's talk about the EGRET. Each channel is going to feature its overall level, pan, an aux send, and then a color switch. There's also going to be solo, mute, and an analog in switch. In its basic form, it's going to, with all the buttons out, it's going to default to a D to A function. And so if you do need to bring in an analog source, you'll then select the analog input at the bottom just by pushing the switch in. The solo and mute buttons give you a lot of good control over being able to just monitor your stereo stems or each individual element. The aux send on each channel is a post-fader sim, which allows you to use a stereo reverb unit with a mono input, basically feed it back into the auxiliary returns left and right on the back, which will then feed into the summing bus. And then finally, the color knob. Basically, this is going to add a second and third order harmonic distortion to the overall audio of each channel. It's basically adding character into it. It's not something where you're going to hear, when I say distortion, it's not adding something that's gritty or anything like that. It basically just fills out the sound. It's not a very heavy-handed effect, but I think that what you'll find is the way that the Cranesong circuit works, and if you are familiar with the Head 192 A to D converter, you're really going to be already familiar with kind of how this works. It basically just fills it out and makes it sound more like tape, and in a very natural and flattering way, without really kind of gumming it up or making it feel thick and heavy and sluggish. Cranesong's really good at maintaining a nice open sound while also giving you more rich harmonic content. Coming down to the master section here, you'll have your aux master, which controls the overall level from all the different auxes going out to your reverb or headphone mix or what have you, whatever you want to use that for. And then also you will have your headphone level control. And yes, you do have a headphone jack on the front panel. Then at the bottom here, this is going to be your master output. If you hear that, that's basically the relays inside working. Cranesong is really big about using digitally controlled analog. So you'll hear basically, this is just basically a digital control step attenuator that fires off a multi-segment relay switch inside, which means that you're going to have a lot less circuitry in the overall master pot. So it's just basically clicking straight through and not basically being more like a wiper style attenuator. As far as digital conversion goes on here, there's really one control, and that's sample rate conversion on and off. And so in the off position here, basically it's just going to automatically clock to the signal that's being given to it. There's not a word clock input on the back with a BNC or anything like that. You will have AES, EBU, and ADAT, and it will support SMUX as well, up to 96K through dual wire operation. The sample rate in function, this will add a little bit more latency, and basically what this is doing, it's not really so much reconverting it, other than it's kind of reclocking it, and it's basically reducing jitter. It's creating a much more clean conversion here for you. So if you're not needing low latency monitoring, I would definitely recommend having this in. Still, you'll want to listen back and forth and see what actually sounds the best. Use your ears, make your judgment that way. But in theory, this actually is going to be the best way to use this. Another switch to note here is going to be the digital source select. In the leftmost position is going to be the AES EBU input. And then in the middle is going to be the ADAT and SMUX support. Over to the right, though, is going to be a selection. It says Digi2 on here, but that's going to be actually for future expansion. Because on the back of the unit, you're going to notice actually that this section of the rear actually is modular. This can pop out. Cranesong has left this to where this can be an upgradable piece of gear. So they can develop another type of digital format. Let's say if they decide to offer something like MADI, for instance, in the future. Well, then basically you could pop this out and then select over onto the other side and have a MADI card in here. I'm not sure if that's something in the plans. It was just something I came up with theoretically that they could do. But you'll notice here that this is going to be your AES EBU inputs. These will support up to 192K 24-bit, so at full resolution. Then you also have the ADAT ports here, which are going to be ADAT-A can just be where you plug in for basically 44.1, 48K 24-bit, or also use the other one in conjunction with it for 8 channels of SMUX up to 96K, or even using 88.2 at 24-bit. As we stated before, each one of the channels for individual processing has an XLR output here. So basically you can go back out to a recorder utilizing the color, second, third order harmonic distortion on each one, record that back into a recorder if you want, or if you have an independent signal chain that you need to bring back in, basically this will do conversion, send out, and then out of here, and then come back in and actually monitor off of the analog inputs. So you actually have basically a send and return chain available to you on each channel. So that's a pretty cool bit of functionality as well. And then as far as the inputs go, they're going to be balanced tip ring sleeve on the back. Can't really have XLRs, there's just not enough room on the back, but it's still a very good option for you. You don't have to go hunting for a DB25, so thumbs up from me. Over here on the side is an expand port. This is basically for tying into the Spider. There's a special cable available from Cranesong. You can contact us if you have one of these or have a Spider and want to get one of these and link the two up. And there's other functionality that's available here as well. And then finally, as we mentioned before, over here you have your aux in and aux returns here for stereo reverb or what have you, whatever you'd like to use. When we did our most recent summing mixer shootout, which is basically just a get to know the different summing mixers that are available on the market, when we plugged in the Cranesong, it was kind of one of those things where a lot of heads turned and we're like, wow, there's that difference. It is one of the more expensive pieces that we tested, and you can hear it. It's just very clean, big, and wide open. And especially with using the color knob, it was something that just was able to really add just that nice, sweet sound to the top and bottom end while keeping everything open and dynamic, but it's allowing the punch and the energy through. So you really start to hear that, like the bass frequencies, like the kick drum and bass and so forth. So it's something that, if I may comment on the sound, it is so choice. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up. So if you have any questions about the Cranesong EGRET or the Spider or any Cranesong piece of gear for that matter, or if you have any questions about any gear that we carry, check us out online at frontendaudio.com or give us a call. Thanks.